Hey everybody, and welcome back to another Weather with Sim forecast. And in today's forecast, we are going to be talking about a large storm that's going to be coming to the United States over the next couple of days. And this is going to bring a lot of impacts, as not only am I expecting the potential for widespread, significant, severe weather, as both Friday and Saturday have now been upgraded to a moderate risk, which is a level 4 out of 5, but we could also be talking about the potential for widespread winds outside of thunderstorms that could be gusting as high as 50 miles per hour, and we could also be seeing the potential for some blizzard conditions across the upper Midwest, and we might even see some flash flooding issues as well, especially with the round on Saturday, and that would be across the deep south, and as well as parts of the areas that got hit by Helene, which we will need to keep an eye on very closely. Let's first start off and go over our severe weather threats, and you guys can see that as we get into tomorrow, we do have a moderate level 4 out of 5 threat for significant severe storms across northwest Tennessee, northeast Arkansas, western Kentucky, central and southern Illinois, a pretty good portion there of eastern Missouri, and as well as southeastern Iowa will all be at risk for widespread insignificant severe weather. But if you look at this enhanced risk, it even includes areas as far down south as Jackson, Mississippi, areas as far north as parts of Iowa, including the Des Moines region, and we might even see some severe weather as far east as Indiana, and we might even see some severe weather as far west as parts there of central Missouri, which we will watch all those areas very closely as widespread damaging winds can be expected, and that's one of the main reasons why we got upgraded to a moderate risk is because of the damaging wind threat. You guys can see that even some of that yellow color is shaded in that hatched risk, and with the hatched risk, which is the lines going through, that's a chance of winds over hurricane force. So if you live in this black color with the lines going through it, which pretty much includes the entire enhanced risk, the entire moderate risk, and parts of the slight risk, that means you have a chance of winds gusting over hurricane force, which is 75 miles per hour or greater. And if we compare that to the tornado threat, this is not driven by a tornado threat, thankfully, but we could still be seeing a few strong tornadoes as we do have a widespread 10% hatched risk for tornadoes. And because of the hatched risk, this could indicate a chance of EF2 tornadoes or greater heading from Jackson, Mississippi, all the way up there into parts of southeast Iowa. And then for the hail threat, hail looks to be the lowest threat overall, but we could be seeing a few large hailstones here or there, especially around the St. Louis, Missouri area, as we do have a small 30% hatch risk across those areas. So we will also be watching for a large hail, which once again, it's probably not going to be the main concern, but we could still be seeing some large hail, so make sure to get ready for that, as I am expecting some pretty large hail as well. But once again, main concerns will be the damaging winds and as well as the tornadoes, which we will watch very closely as we get into Friday, which will be for tomorrow. And then as we look at day 3, we do have a moderate risk for severe weather for on Saturday, as you guys can see, especially across the deep south, including Alabama, Mississippi, and as well as the New Orleans region will all be at risk for severe weather, as we do have that moderate level 4 out of 5 threat. Right around that, we do have that enhanced risk heading as far north as central Tennessee, and then we even got the slight risk heading as far north as northern Ohio. So we will need to be watching this area very closely, as I do think this could be another big day for severe weather. And because of how big it is, I would not be surprised at all if we did see a rare high risk, guys, a rare high risk for severe weather right in this area. This is because the Storm Prediction Center has not only upgraded to a moderate risk as soon as it could, because usually when you're heading 4 days out, usually you can't really issue a moderate risk during that time, but as soon as this became day 3, they did issue a moderate risk, as you can see. So that's why I would not be surprised at all to see a high risk get issued, and we'll also talk about why. But make sure you guys down there in the deep south are really paying attention attention, as I do think this could potentially be a historic tornado outbreak if we do get upgraded to a high risk. So now would be a good time to be paying attention for your Saturday. Let's now go ahead and talk about why we are seeing significant severe weather across much of the United States. Let's look at the NAM model, and you guys can see that with the severe weather threat, let's look at supercell composite. We are going to have quite a bit of supercell composite across the Midwest, as you can see, and this is kind of an indication that we'll have an organized line of showers and thunderstorms rolling on through Friday night and into Saturday morning across much of the Midwest, and this even looks to head into a little bit there, the Ohio Valley, before it finally diminishes. And then once again, we even get this bigger severe weather event by the time we get into your Saturday, as I do think the beginning of your Saturday could already start off really active. So something to really watch for as we get into Friday night and especially into Saturday, as I think we'll still have that big line of storms ongoing, bringing significant damaging winds, large to very large hail, and perhaps an EF2 tornado or greater. But like I said, after the morning hours and after that line rolls on through for, the severe weather threat for Friday, then we move into Saturday's severe weather threat, which will be after about 7 a.m. in the morning, and this is when we could start to see the potential for a major tornado outbreak. And if we compare that to the significant tornado parameters, really good significant tornado parameters right there, as you can see, especially where you see the purple and as well as the maroon colors, which could indicate a chance of EF2 tornadoes or greater, so we will need to watch this very closely. If we compare this to the HRRR model, HRRR model may not be fully, out there just yet. I'm going to go ahead and try to select one of the runs so that way we can get a good idea on what to expect. And if we look at the HRRR model with supercell composite, you guys can see that it kind of shows a little bit of weaker, supercell composite compared to what the NAM model showed, which is quite interesting, by the way, especially because those significant tornado parameters were even a lot higher. They are still pretty high, but not nearly as high as what the NAM model was showing. So it's really interesting how the HRRR model is trending a little bit on the lighter side of things, but we will still need to watch this area very closely, as I do think we could be seeing all hazards in play, like I said. So now would be a good time to be watching, not only the severe weather threat, but also the HRRR model, because we'll have to see what it shows by the time we do get a little closer, which we will continue to watch very closely. Let's now go ahead and look at the wind threat, and you guys can see that those winds outside of showers and thunderstorms. Let's go ahead and go look at the winds using the European model. You guys can see that the latest from the European model is showing some widespread winds across Texas, Oklahoma, and New Mexico of 60 to 70 miles per hour. Those then head into Missouri but die off a little bit, so we're only expecting winds as high as 50 miles per hour in Missouri by the time we get into Friday and Saturday. Same as these winds heading to the Ohio Valley and Midwest, maybe a few isolated 50 mile per hour wind gusts with that, but it will continue to die down by the time we get into the early part of our Saturday. So something to continue to watch for, as winds could gust as high as 50 miles per hour outside of thunderstorms, which means these are winds that aren't produced by storms, but we will still need to watch it very closely, as I do think this will really be a pretty strong storm as it rolls on through. Now, let's also talk about our total rainfall and also our total snowfall. And with our total snowfall, because I'm really worried about the blizzard conditions especially, we may see some really good snowfall, especially across extreme eastern South Dakota and as well as parts there in Minnesota. Not a very big area, but a little sliver there of around a foot of snowfall cannot be rolled out, and so we will need to be watching this area very closely, as it's kind of a weird shaped area, but something to really watch for, as winds could potentially gust as high as 40 miles per hour, and we could also be seeing over a foot of snowfall, so we will need to keep an eye on that area very closely as we get into the weekend. And then for our total rainfall also is going to be pretty plentiful. You guys can see that with these next couple of rounds of storms to roll on through, we could be seeing anywhere from 2 to 4 inches of rainfall across parts there there of the deep south into parts there of the Ohio Valley, and then up there into Ontario could all be seeing anywhere from 2 to 4 inches of rainfall, especially where you see those darker reds and maroon colors. So now would be a good time to be watching the weather very closely, as I do think this is gonna continue to look, pretty crazy over the next day or two, especially because we may also see some pretty good flash flooding around. So now would be a good time to be paying attention, as I do think the rainfall is also going to be concerning too as well. And then I think we should probably look at one more thing. Let's look at the flooding outlooks for our last thing during the video. You guys can see that for tomorrow, marginal risk for flash flooding across Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, northern Alabama, parts there, northern Mississippi, into eastern parts there, Missouri, and as well as southeast Iowa will all be at risk for some localized minor flooding issues as we get into tomorrow. Day 3 starts to get a little bit more crazy, as we do have that, level 2 out of 4 threat on the flash flooding scale for, flash flooding. This is a slight risk, by the way, which does include northern Georgia, northern Alabama, northern Mississippi, lots of Tennessee, into Kentucky, southern Illinois, southern Indiana, and as well as parts there of southwestern Ohio will all be at risk for potential flash flooding as we get into day 3, which will be for a Saturday. So we will need to watch it very closely, as minor flooding, widespread minor flooding, may be possible, so something to keep an eye on there. But thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed today's forecast. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, as we will try to be live sometime during the day tomorrow. Now keep in mind that I will not be live for all the severe weather event. Like I said, I'm one of those people who can't go live for hours, if why not, even a whole day. You guys can rely on other people for that, but I will still try to go live for the severe weather events, so consider subscribing to my channel and turning on all notifications, as we will at least be here for you for the start of the severe weather event as it starts to happen over the next couple of days. And it also really does help support the channel out a lot, which I am hoping we can try to reach around 2,000 subscribers before the first day of spring. So if you guys haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe to the channel. And like I said, I really do appreciate the support, and I hope you guys all have a great rest of your Thursday out there, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Thank you all so much for watching, and goodbye.